100 of the best science fiction movies, man, is laid down by me, your boy C, the host of most of the things right here on the Pop Rican Network, man. We're back. We're back with yet another movie for you, man. We're talking about the 100 greatest sci-fi movies is laid down what I think are the best 100, from 100 to 1. We're releasing one a day for the first 100 days of 2022, just getting all sciencey and all fictiony up in your ass. As you can hear, if you listen to yesterday's podcast, I was not murdered at the podcast studio, much to my disappointment. Yesterday, we talked about Ghostbusters, and just what a fun, funny, hilarious, quintessential 80s SNL movie that is, man. And it's always a great movie. I think it can be considered one of the better sick movies. Like, you're just feeling ill or you're hungover, you can just lay on the couch. Just throw on Ghostbusters, man, and you will feel better by the end of it. I promise you. Today is no such errors, man. Today we're talking about 46 on the list. We finally gotten to it, man. I know people were like, "What's this going to be on the list or not?" You damn straight it is. Primer. And the tagline: what happens if it actually works? A plus 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 tagline. I love that tagline. Friends and fledgling entrepreneurs invent a device in their garage which reduces the apparent mass of any object placed inside it, but they discover that it has some highly unexpected capabilities, ones that could enable them to do and to have seemingly anything they want. Taking advantage of this unique opportunity is the first challenge they face. Dealing with the consequences is next. Oh boy, man, Primer. Primer is one of those movies that you're not gonna understand the first time you check it out. I've talked throughout the years when I talk about movies. Sometimes I refer to certain movies as phones down movies, where you really need to be locked in or dialed in. Primer is a phones off movie. Like, you need to be laser focused in on that. Put the kids to bed. And make sure that the house is quiet. Make sure you are free of distractions so you can zone in fully on everything that Primer's trying to do. These two guys invent a vessel in which they can possibly travel back through time. And the science on this, the science and the physics and just how they map it out and how they lay it out is just absolutely the unfolding of this movie is just a wonder to behold, I think. There's twists, there's turns, there's complications, both foreseen and unforeseen, that you're just like, oh shit, I never would have thought of that. And just trying to keep it all straight in your head it's absolutely nuts and batty. But it is still, when you get to the end, you're gonna want to watch it again, I think. Because you're gonna be like, I'm not sure that I caught everything or understand which version of who is who, but it's the good kind of confusion. It's the one, like, if you were to watch this movie with friends and none of y'all have seen it for the first time, it's guaranteed a solid like 30-40 minutes of just trying to make sure that everyone understood what was going on and everybody was on the same page, because this movie is absolute bananas. One of my favorite things about this movie is very subtle. All the time travel and having to avoid oneself while going back in time, and all the things that they have to do to make sure that doesn't happen, and then all the things that they're doing to try to make gains while time traveling is lending them to 36-hour-long days. And in that 36-hour-long days, you're also traveling back in time as well. And it's just messing them up cognitively more and more. And there's a very little subtle bit in there right near the end with like maybe 15 or 20 minutes left. Maybe more than that. Maybe about 30 minutes left. Well, this movie isn't all that long. So maybe it's like 15, 20 minutes left. The two dudes who time travel, one hands a notebook over where they've been writing notes. And the handwriting just looks absolutely atrocious. and then they focus on it very briefly, and then a couple of minutes down the road when they've confronted each other, and it's really, this is about the breaking down of the friendship between the two guys who make this thing and this thing that comes in between them. That's really the whole story here. And the one of the guys says to the other one, "What's wrong with our hands?" And you realize just the effects that the time travel has had on them. And the other one said that, yeah, he can see the letters in his head, but his hands are no longer able to actually physically form the letters when he writes. It's weird shit like that I would never have thought of while writing a movie like this or working on it or developing a movie like this. There's a lot of paying attention to what's going on. Primer is, for me, Primer is one of the main examples of how to do a very well told movie with very little budget. Like I talked about that with Arc. Oh, it's got a little bit of a budget. I talked about that with Time Lapse a couple of weeks ago. I'm a huge sucker for well-told sci-fi stories where the budget is obviously incredibly low, but it is so inventive and creative with that budget. And Primer is one of the main examples of that, as is tomorrow's movie. There's a little hint for you, man. But that's it, man, for this bit of business here on number 46 on the list, Primer. We'll be back in 24 hours to figure out what it was that I just dropped that in for. Until then, you all take it easy and have a good one.